All right, what's up, y'all? My name is Evan Strong. I am the founder of In the Image Clothing Company. This is 1/4 of us in the Image Clothing Company Poodles. We do a lot here. I'll talk about this side of the company, and then I'll talk a little bit about the other 3 sides of the company, and then we'll get into the discussion. And this is titled "A Natural Dog is a Healthy Dog," and we'll talk about it. But what we are under In the Image Clothing Company Poodles is letting dogs stay natural. So this is a fitting video for our slogan for this 4th of the company. Floorings, shoot, and I'm not even going to get into it. I was going to talk about the things that are unnatural, but that'll be this video. We'll get into it in quite good depth. But I'll talk about the things that aren't just about being natural solely. We advocate for dogs here in a lot of ways. Breeding well, right? Ownership properly, taking accountability as the owner of the dog. We debunk myths, why dogs don't listen, why health problems come up in the ways they do. A lot of things just all surrounding dogs, ownership, health, okay? Specializing in standard poodles, we have our purebred standard poodle puppies, proper AKC registered dogs to come. Our breeding program under In the Image Clothing Company Poodles. But we do a lot of the other things that I'll talk about within the whole discussion of this when it comes to letting dogs be what they would be in nature when they're now placed into a modern man-made world. Today's the 9th of May, 2025. So yeah, okay. One other 4th of us is the main side of In the Image Clothing Company, where it all started, still our main side. Keyword allowing the human body to work is what we do through clothing. I say we're just a mechanical machine placed onto a rock in space. We have to obey the laws of gravity, really all God's universal laws that apply to all of us. The body can only do what it does. There's only one way the human body could ever work, okay? As I say, center line is there and it has to remain. The sternum, the spine, the trachea, the nose, and our jaw, naturally stabilizing our entire body. Feet arches opposing the center, gripping inward, keeping us vertical. Yeah, we place clothing on us and it has to stay centered, fit correct, ideally be made from 100% natural materials because the human body is. And then that's how we just let our bodies be unaltered, okay? But we talk about a lot of things as we do with dogs too. Hydration, standing, walking, eating, sleeping naturally, okay? Yes, a lot. Really, truly, we do. And we know what we're talking about, but I also say don't believe me, okay? Don't believe in the Image Clothing Company. Truth is truth, so try it out, okay? Another 4th of us is In the Image Clothing Company Music, where I show how to size and set up guitars to not alter the hands. Our hands are essentially our shoulders, as the feet are essentially the hips. The body can only work as a whole, activated in its entirety, staying within its neutrals. It's about the skeletal system, the thing that doesn't change, okay? The fat content changes and the muscle mass does as well. So, yeah. Also, music that I've made is placed on In the Image Clothing Company Music. I'm a fingerstyle guitarist. I sing, I do musical stuff. I really do. So, In the Image Clothing Company podcast, the other 4th of us, deep, raw, blunt, bold, real, diving into discussing the gospel of Jesus Christ, aka the truth of all things. We're all the same thing. We're human beings. We're placed on the same earth. We just discuss it, and there you go, okay? 117 episodes is what we're on as of today's date of In the Image Clothing Company podcast. So, all right, so a natural dog is a healthy dog, okay? Think about it like this. There's only always and always only ever nature until human beings get involved and we make things, okay? By taking something and something else and putting it together in an unnatural way, all right? Synthetic materials, dog toys, okay? Dogs are eating toys nowadays that are made from oil, okay? Polyester, it's just oil. It's been refined through a factory, heated up, unnaturally formed, okay? Yeah. There's a lot going on in the materials of things that we place around our dogs' necks. Okay, collars, leashes, harnesses, any apparel for dogs. We talk often here under In the Image Clothing Company Poodles about dehydrated foods, okay? Kibble has just had the water extracted from it. That's very unnatural, okay? So these are the things that we talk about a lot with dogs and keeping them natural, well, really just letting them stay natural. See what I mean? Everything's natural until it's altered by something. And human beings really is all. Animals can't alter things to be unnatural, because animals don't have factories. Animals don't start fires to intentionally heat stuff up that's very specifically placed together, right? Animals don't make clothing that they then put onto themselves. So a natural dog is a healthy dog, because dogs would always just be natural until we domesticated them and now have ownership over them, okay? And it's okay, it is what it is, and times and places for things, as I say. But, yeah, the dog has to continue to just be as close to what it would be in nature, okay, as it would be in your house. So, right, we talk about the dexterity in both the human hands and the dog's paws, okay? Unnaturally flat flooring doesn't let the dog be natural, all right? And that's just going to alter the way that all of its muscles and all of its joint positioning works through its whole body by being placed on an unnatural flooring. Now, if we can keep the dog on texture, okay, and there's actually a video under In the Image Clothing Company Poodles titled Dogs Need Textured Flooring, then our dogs can be more natural in their physical operations stemming at their feet, okay? And that's how they're going to be the healthiest, because that's how they would just always be, and that's why their paws are designed the way that they are by God, okay? We didn't design it, we can't decide it. An episode of In the Image Clothing Company podcast. We didn't design the dogs. I know that we've kind of created breeds by breeding certain dogs with other dogs to single in on a purebred dog, right? And that's in a lot of ways what we do here is advocate for purebred dogs and health-wise, right? In nature, you're not going to have a wolf breeding with a coyote, right? Maybe it could at some time, but it just doesn't happen, really. And we sometimes mix dogs, right? Very, very unnatural. So a natural dog is actually a purebred dog. And then that's how we keep the dogs healthy, okay? Yeah, there's a video under In the Image Clothing Company Poodles titled A Mutt is a Mutt. And before you get all thinking I'm discriminating, there's reasons to a purebred dog, okay? It's natural. And I discussed it in that. So, also the video titled Proper Dogs, same thing. Natural dogs is how they would just be, and when we get involved as human beings, we make sometimes very improper dogs, okay? So you can check that video out as well. Yikes. So, yeah, a natural dog is a dog that would be eating food that it would just find out there, okay? Dogs are carnivorous. They eat meat. I'm a vegetarian. Dogs eat meat, okay? And they also eat vegetables and whatever else, okay? I mean, they're omnivores, but meaning they eat both plants and animals. There's water content in flesh of human beings, right? The human being is actually majority water. That's just how flesh really works. And so if a dog were to eat an animal, there'd be so much water in the meat. And then we dehydrate the food, and that's very unnatural. We've talked about it, and we will continue to. There's a video titled Drinking Water After Eating Kibble under In the Image Clothing Company Poodles, and I discussed what happens when that is the case. But we need to have some moisture in the food that we give our dogs, because there just would always naturally be. I mentioned vegetables, and vegetables have a higher water content than meat does. So, yeah, okay. A natural dog is a healthy dog, all right? Now, all the things that a dog could chew on nowadays, well, are in a lot of cases very limited to the individual dog. Because if your dog's mostly inside with you, you might have purchased toys for it. And those toys might have been made out of plastic, aka oil, similar to what you pour into your automotive machinery to lubricate it. No joke, that's what synthetic materials like that are made out of. A lot of clothing for human beings, if it's unnatural, that's what it is. So, naturally, dogs would just chew on sticks, okay? They would chew on, probably majority of the time, just a stick. Bones of animals, okay? We give our dogs things nowadays, I don't. But things are sold in stores nowadays, branded as dog toys, and they're actually toxic for the dogs, okay? A natural dog is a healthy dog. If we can give our dogs only natural things to be chewing on as far as toys go, that's the ideal, okay? And not just like if you want to try to get to the ideal, but that's the only way the dog's actually going to stay healthy. Otherwise, undoubtedly and unavoidably, it's causing damage to the dog if it's ever chewing on synthetic things of any kind. So, a natural dog is a healthy dog. And we talk about collars, right? Keeping the collar centered and light. In the Image Clothing Company dog products, right? Minimal, brandless on the exterior, light, natural materials, staying centered with the weight, because of what I've discussed on how you look at a dog that doesn't have a collar on, and you look at a dog that has a collar on, and the one with no collar can just sit up well and move its neck, and it can have a good body position, the only way the dog would ever work unless otherwise restricted. And then you look at a dog that's got a collar on and it's not able to fully lift its own head up, and its entire spine then traveling through its entire body is slightly altered, and maybe much more than slightly, okay? So a natural dog is a healthy dog. If we can keep all things off dogs at all times that we can, that's the ideal, okay? Again, not just something to try to reach to someday, some ideal out there, but it's the only way the dog would ever be unless otherwise altered, okay? A natural dog is a healthy dog. Immunizations, all right? Times and places, okay? There are certain legally required immunizations for dogs in certain parts of the earth, okay? And that's a good thing when it's a good thing. But often dogs will just be getting overly immunized, if that's how you phrase it, okay? And do you even know what's in that? I don't. As of right now, they tell you it does what they tell you it does, and maybe it really does. And maybe in certain cases it really does, and in other cases it doesn't. The point is, a natural dog would never have anything squozen into it with a syringe. And a natural dog is a healthy dog. And I get it, right? Things come up in wild animals, rabies, all sorts of diseases could happen anywhere, everywhere that they could. Okay, and in a lot of cases, immunizations actually really help our dogs stay much healthier than if we didn't give them those things, okay? But we need to just be very intentional on what we're doing. We need to know what we're doing, really, before we do it, okay? At least to the best that we can. We're sinful by nature. We're imperfect. We don't know everything, and we never could in this life. But a natural dog is a healthy dog, okay? So in all cases that we can have just like an image in our head of what would this dog look like if it was just out there on the unaltered earth, and then try to like emulate that in our households and all the things that we do as owners of dogs, okay? That's how we're gonna keep our dogs healthy. So this is in the Image Clothing Company Poodles. I phrase it like this because I say, I always say don't believe us. I say it very often, at least I have. Don't believe me, Evan Strong, as the founder of In the Image Clothing Company. Don't believe In the Image Clothing Company, but truth is truth, right? If stuff works, stuff works. And so I say you can quote unquote trust, but just meaning that our poodles will be raised healthy, okay? We will pick proper mother and father dogs, right, for In the Image Clothing Company Poodles breeding program. We will raise the dogs up healthy and natural to what we know how to do, okay? And then once they're 8 weeks old, give or take, then they'll come to their homes, right? Fill out the application, get one of our puppies if and when, right? So a natural dog is a healthy dog, okay? Advocating is a lot of what we do under In the Image Clothing Company Poodles. And a big thing is this topic. We live in a modern day. Whether it's a human being, it's a dog, or it's any other animal on the earth, there's a lot of man-made things. And it alters us as God's creation if we're not intentional, okay? So when it comes to advocating for things, that's a big reason why poodle parade events under In the Image Clothing Company, right, where we get together with our standard miniature, mini, toy, those first, miniature and mini, those are the same. What I mean is, I know I'm strict, right? And I say only purebred poodles of any size, there you go, and or poodle mixes of any size ever allowed at poodle parade events under In the Image Clothing Company. But first of all, the breed is in the name of the event, poodle parade, okay? But also there's a lot of advocacy, and we need to kind of stay in our niche, all right? That's what makes us credible as In the Image Clothing Company, and that's what makes what we talk about something that we actually understand, because we have a niche, meaning we have a very specific almost genre, right? An avenue. We stay specific. The goal for all four sides of In the Image Clothing Company is natural, okay? And how we get to natural is, say, what if we were never involved? How would it be? And let's get as close to that as we can and stay there, or even get back to it, right? Releasing chronic scar tissue and patterning within the human body, right? Allowing our dogs to rid the toxins in their body after chewing on unnatural toys and things like this, okay? So advocacy is really a lot of what In the Image Clothing Company Poodles specifically, this fourth of our company, really is. We do a lot more, but in all that we do, right, we have our standards, we have our morals, we have where we're set, and it's in stone, in other words, on a rock, okay? We've got a foundation here on the gospel of Jesus Christ. And that's how we keep things uniform. That's how we know how things should be done, because God designed all of this, right? Don't believe me, don't agree, but check out In the Image Clothing Company podcast if you'd like to. I get into it deeply, okay? So, yes, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, okay? Now, a natural dog is a healthy dog, and we'll talk about it. I did in here, and we'll continue to just be what we are for the entirety of Evan Strong's life, at least, okay? In the Image Clothing Company is permanence to me. As far as like coming from me, I'm still the founder. Always will be labeled as the founder because I'm just, right. Yeah, episode 114 of In the Image Clothing Company podcast. In the Image Clothing Company and Evan Strong are one, okay? So stick around, and there you go. All right, today's the 9th of May, 2025. My name is Evan Strong, the founder of In the Image Clothing Company, and thank you. I love poodles, standard size. If I didn't mention it within this, regardless, right, is what we specialize in. And a lot of it too, there's a lot that comes with a large sized dog. I'll say this before I wrap it up, because this is the, yes, you can hear my stuttering. That's when I get like convicted of like, yeah, you got to say this is important if you can, right? You hear a lot of that happening on In the Image Clothing Company podcast when I start to brush over something, but then I need to revisit it. Small dogs, not in every case, and there's different breeds, but in many cases are bred down in size. And sometimes that's happened through pretty natural means, but sometimes it's also happening by selecting the smallest dog of each litter, known as the runt. And anyway, a lot of dogs, okay, times and places, but a lot of dog breeds weren't ever as small as they are nowadays, but they were bred down, right, through generation of dog, selecting smaller dogs to get to this smaller size, to live in houses and apartments and yeah, okay, be easier to take places. Dogs became companions when dogs used to just be natural, okay, and just do whatever they would do. They were the size that they were because that fit what they did, whether they were burrowing into small rodents' places of living to eat the rodent, right, or if it was a larger dog like a wolf and it's out there chasing a caribou, okay. Different dog sizes for different reasons, but a natural dog is a healthy dog. A lot of dogs that are small nowadays never would be that size unless human beings got involved, okay? So, anyway, thank you, and thank you. Just be aware. I think that's what I was saying, right? If we can learn and if we can know more than we do, right? Meaning continue to gain knowledge and understanding of what's going on, that's how we know what it means for things to be natural. And yeah, In the Image Clothing Company is a beautiful avenue for you to be able to do that without speaking biasly, because I am the founder of In the Image Clothing Company. That's what we're founded on, is truth and things that will never change, and God himself, okay? So, thank you.